It takes a global network to be in touch with planet Earth's global community. Hope Channel broadcasts the hope found in Jesus with 10 global channels through programs on healthy living, history, culture, music, and biblical spirituality. And Hope Channel provides a diverse cultural programming mix in many of the world's major languages. Welcome to donor-supported Hope Channel.
I remember when I was still a child, I used to be a spoiled kid.
Which means righteousness originally comes from
God.
then God has a reason why He created trials. Grudgingly, and it will be given you, taken away from Him, and given very.
We are all excited. In His presence has prepared something for us to learn from. But hey, wait a second. You know what?
What? Are you sure?
Yeah, sure. It's really gross, you know. And more.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
goodness.
can't believe it.
Who among you cannot relate to this? James, have you ever gossiped? What a smile. Does that mean yes?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Are you sure? You're not lying, huh? How about Morris? Have you ever gossiped?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so guys do gossip?
with other girls, of course. Not with boys.
We are not trying to create any turf war between the sexes, okay? But we are going to try to understand more about gossiping. Is gossiping a sin? Pastor, I know you've got more to tell us.
Okay, welcome again to In His Presence. So I'll be dealing with a very important, crucial, and rampant problem in our church, and that is about gossiping. But for this show, we entitled it Verbal Dynamite. I'd like to ask for a story. I think Louis has something to share about the story regarding gossiping.
I remember this story about a very pretty widow. In around 2 weeks, she has been the talk of the town because she was very pretty. And since she was a widow, there were men visiting her. And the neighbors are really talking about this because her children are just outside running. And when her children are hungry, they just went to the neighbors to eat. And they often see this widow, this very lovely widow, inside her house, reading or lying around the sofa. Then one day, this widow went to the post office and something happened. She suddenly collapsed. Then after collapsing, they found out that this widow have a very incurable disease. And they found out that the men who were visiting her were her past family doctor, and the other guy was her lawyer who managed the estate and all her financial stuff. And the last guy who visited her was her husband's brother. So it was just family. After that incident, the neighbors became very sympathetic of her. They showed pity on her. They took care of her and all of her kids. Then that's what happened. And those gossipers, you know what happened to them? They really never forgave themselves for gossiping because I think they just realized what a very big mistake they have made.
Okay. So what a story. Gossiping is really a problem that pervades our homes, our offices, even the streets. yes, even our churches. And many times, gossip brings strife in the churches, and even many backslide because they are victims of this problem in the church. So, can you cite another example why gossip is really a problem in our society today? Can someone share?
Who would
Okay.
like to share?
Okay.
Dessa again,
Dessa?
Dessa?
Okay.
But
She knows a lot of
no,
gossip.
yeah, just kidding. I guess we all know that gossip is really a big thing.
Yeah.
You know, it also makes big things. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Those small things, so simple, yet through gossiping, it became so big. It became so huge, and it became so talk of the town.
Yeah.
We all know that a single sentence. Let's say I say that Morris is my friend. But then when someone heard it, he might say it in a different way, or he might relate it, or she might relate it to someone in a different way. That's why a person, although he doesn't do anything, although just like the story, the lady doesn't do anything, but then her reputation was somewhat crushed because of somewhat of that gossip. I guess it goes like that.
Okay.
Any particular instance when you were gossiped about? Who had that experience? Anybody? Don't be shy. Only the world will know. Who has that kind of story? You were gossiped upon. Okay. Rich.
I have one particular experience that I can remember of, and it's about I'm a student, as you may know, and I try to make it a point that I really try to observe our Sabbath commitment. Especially as Adventists, we know that Saturday is our Sabbath day of rest, so we shouldn't attend classes, take exams on that day. But way back in college, I was like second year, I heard and quite unfortunately, some of my friends tell me that some of my classmates spread around this rumor that I was attending Saturday classes. And when I heard that, I was actually very hurt. I was very disappointed because not only were they my friends, but they're also people whom I've known about, and they also know me for a long time because they've been my classmates way back even in grade school and high school. So now when they spread this rumor, which is really untrue, and it's about something that I care about because it's a commitment, it's a testimony that I want to share with other Adventists who may have studied in other schools, not Adventist institutions. If it's something that it's not true and people are telling you, this guy does this and does that, it hurts me and it affected my commitment also that I'm trying to do the right thing, and now people are telling me that I'm doing the opposite thing. But later on, even though I had that kind of negative emotion, I just told myself that, well, what matters is that I'm doing the right thing. I'm sure that I know that I'm doing the right thing. When others say that, let my life be the testimony itself. I don't need to tell others, hey, I'm not doing that. Those who know that the things that are true about me, they will also counter that and say, no, he's not doing that. And when I hear that, I just say, no, that's not true. Just look at me, I'm still here in Sabbath. So the lesson or the moral that we can get here is that you may try to do the right thing every time, but sometimes there are people who talk gossip and say slanderous things about you, but don't lose heart. Just do the right thing, and you just don't need to care about those people who say things about you.
Okay, so we now know that gossiping can hurt. It can even ruin relationships. All right, but Pastor, when does gossiping happen?
Okay. So actually, our discussion today is outlined this way. We'll tackle about what is gossiping, and then what is the effect of gossiping to both to the gossiper and to the one who is gossiping about. And then after that, how to handle gossip. Okay. So we'll tackle these important topics. And then I'll be answering Armon's question later. Now, actually, there is a lady, or actually an author, who entitled his book, Amelia's Guide to Gossip. Okay. She has written a book about a guide to gossiping. However, this problem of gossiping is already in existence during the time of Moses, Solomon, Jesus, and Paul. It is even older than the earth itself. Okay, so we'll be reading texts from the Bible that will help us understand how serious gossiping is, and that will also define that gossiping is a sin. Okay, Celine, can you read Leviticus 19, verse 16?
Okay, Leviticus 19 verses 16. You shall not go about as a talebearer among your people, nor shall you take a stand against the life of your neighbor. I am the Lord.
Okay, can someone read it in another translation? Okay, Malu, use the microphone. Thank you.
Just verse 16.
Yeah.
Do not go about spreading slander among your people. Do not do anything that endangers your neighbor's life. I am the Lord.
Yeah. Do not go about spreading slander among your people. Do not go.
Can I just add
Yeah,
verse
okay.
17?
Yeah, okay.
Verse 17 says, do not hate your brother in your heart. Rebuke your neighbor frankly so you will not share in his guilt.
Okay. Then another text in Proverbs 26:20. Okay. Can you share your microphone? Okay, thank you.
Proverbs 26:20. Where no wood is, there the fire goeth out. So where there is no tabor bearer,
Okay.
the strife ceases.
Okay, thank you. Who has the NIV translation? Okay. Here, without wood, a fire goes out. Without gossip, a quarrel dies down. Okay. And then, in the New Testament, in Galatians 5:15. Galatians 5:15. It is a beautiful text. Okay.
Galatians 5:15 says,
Mm.
But if ye bite and devour one another, take heed that ye be not consumed one of another.
Okay, again, since we are dealing with the Word of God, we need to ask God's guidance. Let us request James.
Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for giving us another opportunity to learn lessons from your messages. May we adopt this in our life so that it can help us to go on. I'm sorry for the mistakes and the sin we made. In Jesus' name, we pray.
Amen. Okay. So what is gossip, by the way? What is gossip? Do you have your own definition of gossiping? Okay. What is gossip in Tagalog, in Filipino? Chismis. Chismis.
Chismax.
Chismax.
Chicas.
Chisem. Okay. Whisperer. Okay. Backbiter. The mga synonyms. Slander or slanderer. Mapaghatid, dumapit. Sa Tagalog, but malalim. Mapaghatid, dumapit. Okay? The Bible Dictionary defines it as familiar or idle talk. Groundless rumor. Okay? To talk idly, usually about the affairs of others. So when you are talking about the affairs of others, in his or her absence, you are gossiping. Okay? Do we have the definition now? Is it clear? Okay, gossiper is the one who talks idly. And there is a noun for the zealous spreader of gossip. This person or persons like this those who are zealous spreaders of gossip cannot live without gossiping. They are called gossip monger. Is the right?
Monger.
Monger, right? Pronunciation, okay? Gossip monger. Okay? And then many times we are not aware that we are gossiping about others. And I will tell you and I will confess to you that I am also, as pastor, sometimes I am guilty of gossiping. But I'm as young people, this is not a good idea. This is not a good example. We need to be we need to avoid gossiping. Instead of gossiping about others' life, why don't we share Jesus Christ's life with others? Okay. In Leviticus 19:16, do not go about slandering, spreading information against your neighbor. And Jesus spoke of Satan as one who has not stood in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he tells a lie, he speaks from his own nature, because he is a liar and the father of liars. And diabolos, other words for devil, can mean slanderous or the slanderer, according to the Holman Bible Dictionary, page 1510. Diabolos can mean slanderous, the slanderer. And the synonym for gossip is slander. So, if we are gossiping about others, we are reflecting whose image? Whose image? The father of liars, Satan. But to us, even in the national television, gossiping is just a normal thing. But if we will visit the Bible as we are studying it, gossiping is, as in if someone would like to add, or Armon?
Yeah, you've been talking about gossiping as
Yeah.
idle talk. But what if the case is you want something or someone to get corrected, but you cannot go straight to the person who is concerned, and you ask somebody to help you out, you just express to another person about your concern about this person who's causing you some problems or troubles.
Yeah.
Is that gossiping in that sense? Because perhaps you've known that person, and when you go to her or to him, he or she would not listen, so what are you going to do? Are you gossiping when you experience that?
Actually, I will deal with that question in our third part of the outline of this study, how to handle gossip. But I'd like to answer that. Our problem as Adventists or as Christians, we are actually deliberately and or unconsciously do not follow Matthew 18. When you have something against your neighbor or your friend, what does Jesus tell us to do? Go to him directly. Okay. For example, because we have the fear that he will not understand me, probably the problem will become worse if I will go to him directly. But actually, that is only fear. Jesus Christ has that solution. Go to him directly. But if not, if you cannot do that, be sure that you are talking to a mature Christian, a mature leader. I should say a mature leader, a mature pastor, a mature Christian who will handle this problem correctly, or else it will spread like wildfire. Okay, Eden?
Pastor, I guess I have here the verse for the answer. Galatians 6 verse 1. says here, my friends, if someone is caught in any kind of wrongdoing, those of you who are spiritual should set him right. But you must do it in a gentle way. So when you tell it to him or her about the about what he did is not right. I mean, you have to do it in a gentle way. So,
The problem in our church is this. For example, I have something against a member. Instead of going straight to her or to him, I'll go to the elder, I'll go to the Sabbath school leader, and the Sabbath school leader will go to another member, they will talk about it, and then this person goes to church, not knowing that the whole church knows about the problem, about his or her problem. So that's the worst thing that this woman or man can experience. And that brings strife within the church. When the wood is, what is the text? If there's no wood, there's no fire. There's no gossip, strife ceases. Okay, as a child of God, this should be our commitment. I should not be zealous spreader of the gossip, but of the gospel. Okay. I should not devote to gossip, but to the gospel. I should not be a gossiper, but gospeller. Okay. So when I visited this in the dictionary, they are just neighbors. Gossiper and gospeller. Okay, so I hope that it's already clear to you what gossip is. For example, I'm telling something that is good things. I'm sharing about, for example, I'm talking to Armon and I'm sharing something about Pastor Marlon that is positive, that is, what do you think about that? Is it gossip? Can you consider?
It's a good news.
Good news. Okay, it depends. If you are telling that if you have negative motives in telling that story, okay, it is still
Depends upon
gossip.
the motives, I guess.
Yeah. So, we'll now proceed. Why do people gossip? Okay, we have defined gossiping. It's talking idly about the affairs of others. Now the question is, why do people gossip?
Maybe, Pastor, they hate that person. I mean, they don't like that person. That's why he spread that rumors against, to degrade also that person.
Yeah. So that is biblical. In Psalm 41 verse 7, they hate the person. So if someone hates you, he will he will gossip about you and talk things negative against you and will spread that news. Okay? Another reason.
Maybe just
Okay.
mere curiosity, because as humans, there's a natural tendency to talk about other people.
Yeah.
It makes us feel good about ourselves that we know something
Uh-huh.
which can be harmful to that person. And when you talk about it, it seems like, we know this, so there is something I know about you. So it makes
Using
you
it.
feel that you have something that is within your reach, something that you hold that can be used against another person. And if ever someday, for example, you become you hate that person too, then you can use it against him. So that the mere fact that you're curious about that person and the fact that you can use it against him also makes you feel good about yourself, that you know something that he doesn't know about you that way.
Wow.
And he's
Yeah.
so blackmail.
Yeah.
Pastor, I guess on the other way around, how Clear Rich said it, that person or that gossiper might have his or her own insecurities.
Yes,
That's
for cover
why,
up.
yeah, maybe he just wanted some sympathy for him. That's why he's reflecting it to other person. It might be the problem.
Yeah.
And maybe
Good
another thing po, maybe as a person, we need also to understand their culture of each other, or maybe their personality. As like what Dessa said, maybe that person is insecure or has some insecurities in his or herself. So maybe there's something in his or her past happened, that's why he became that way.
Okay. So,
Hereditary.
so why do people gossip? Okay, they hate the person, they are angry. Sometimes they said that they are concerned individuals.
Yeah.
Concern and
That's one thing
Concern.
that I don't understand. They say that I'm telling this from mere observation, but what good does it bring when you tell it to me and not to the person concerned? Well, I'm not going to learn anything from that because I'm not that person.
Okay. And then to degrade the person, and they envy the person. Okay, they want his position or anything. They envy the person. So, we have just answered our two important questions. What is gossip and why do people gossip? Armon?
I have nothing to tell, but something is in my mind right now. Is this truth or lie when people say things about you and they say when you corner them and ask them frankly, what is your problem about me? They'd say, I don't really have any problem with you. I did not have any wrong intentions telling these things to other people. It's just that you are the topic, but I had no intentions whatsoever to harm you. Is that a lie or is that truth?
We will answer that in our next episode of In His Presence, Armon.
You will cause me not to sleep. But have you ever experienced that? Somebody trying to tell you that, I'm sorry, I didn't mean any harm. It was just mere talk. Joanne.
Maybe I think it will, matatawag natin siyang hugas kamay in Tagalog. You know that thing? Na we need to save ourselves just to tell the person that you didn't want to harm or mean it.
But could that person be sincere in saying that she or he does not have any intentions, bad intentions against you?
Well, as you said, gossip is what were you saying earlier? Motivation based, or it depends on your motivation. Well, I think sometimes people talk to somebody else, not really not because they can't talk to the person directly. Perhaps sometimes if you talk to a person directly, they might not be able to understand at that time what you're trying to say. So perhaps some people would talk to somebody else to just to air out or just to get a clearer view of the picture. That could be a possible thing.
Yeah, that's a good point. If I may also add, I think to do this thing, there should be a component of two elements. First, your means and your ends. So the way you do it, for example, let's talk about the ends first. Your objective in trying to having a good intention, trying to help that person, but what you use, the means that you use is not the right way, like telling it to other people first before that person concerned. I think it can also be wrong. So both should be right. You have an intention of helping that person and then talk to that person directly. That's the right way to do it, to help that person.
Okay, thank you so much. We have a lot of ideas about gossiping. Could it really be a sin? We have proven that it is. Now we want to learn more about gossiping. That's why we will keep hanging out with In His Presence.
Bringing hope the world over. Hope Channel.